This election is going to be fought on just one plank: credibility. Special package, special status continues to be our topmost priority even now. But when will it happen? But when will it be realized? When the central government does not have the numbers. Unfortunately, it's not Chandrababu Naidu alone I fight. I fight with Enadu, I fight with Andhra Jyoti, I fight with TV5, all of them put together, coming together with Chandrababu Naidu. Unfortunately, that is the plight of affairs in Andhra Pradesh.
Thank you very much for joining us. When we travel around, we find two very distinct issues. One is people, average voter, is happy with your welfare. But your political opponents say this is about welfare versus development of the state, and you have ignored development. What is your counter to that?
What is development is one should ask Purnai. See, I'll tell you what development is. For the first time in this regime, we're building 4 seaports. The state had 6 seaports in 4 locations for decades. Now, in these 59 months, we're building 4 more.
So 10 it will be.
We're building 4, yeah, we'll have 10 ultimately. Building 4 more. And then they're going at a brisk pace. As you probably can go have a look at the pace at which the works are happening. We're building 17 new medical colleges. 5 of them already commissioned. 7 more, I think this year they're going to come up for admissions. And then going forward, year after that, the balance.
17
new medical colleges. We're talking about Kurnool Airport expansion. We're talking about Kadapa Airport expansion. When did they take place? All of them in this regime. Bhogapuram International Airport in Vizag is going at a brisk pace. When did the work start? Why is it that it's happening at a brisk pace? Now, 3 industrial corridors, 10 industrial nodes, all of them going at a very, very brisk pace. When did the pace pick up? Only now. Ease of doing business, we are number 1 consistently for the past so many years. And in spite of the fact that while awarding the number 1 status, now the questionnaire has changed, where they're taking the entrepreneurs' views also into consideration. And in spite of that. And today you're talking about Gram Swaraj in every village. You have 15,000 Sachvalayams constructed. You have every village.
What is that?
Gram Sachvalayam. In every 2,000 population, you have a Sachvalayam in existence. And you have every 60, 70 houses, one volunteer to handhold people to Sachvalayam. 600 types of services, door delivered at the village level. That is Gram Sachvalayam, where the entire list is displayed. No corruption anywhere, no discretion anywhere. 15,000 Gram Sachvalayam buildings, Gram and Watt Sachvalayam buildings in existence. Every village has a village clinic, which was never there before. Every village has a Raitu Bharosa Kendra, hand-holding farmers from seed to sale of produce, giving them quality pesticides, quality fertilizers, quality seed at their village, which was never there before, hand-holding farmers. An English medium school, Nadu Nedu, facelifted by Nadu Nedu, converted into English medium, at the village level, 45,000 government schools. Nadu Nedu, 6th class onwards, every classroom is digitized.
Huge focus on education.
TOEFL as a period, from 3rd class onwards. 3rd class onwards, subject teacher concept. 6th class onwards, every classroom digitized through IFP
The
panels.
main language is English, but Telugu is a language subject.
Telugu is a compulsory subject.
Yeah, but everything is taught in English. Physics, chemistry.
Everything. It's an English medium school. But
every government school, English medium.
English medium with bilingual textbooks. 1 page Telugu, 1 page English. And 8th class students get tabs. And the transition is into IB. International Baccalaureate is made available to students, where IB people are working with state government board. For 2025, now as we speak, capacity building of the teachers is taking place. 2025, the first batch of IB students, first class will start. in 2026 second class, in 2027 third class, and so on and so forth. 2035, our children would actually be writing IB's 10th class certificate, getting an IB certificate, TOEFL from third class onwards as a period. Higher education also, similar thrust, where you're talking about online verticals from reputed international universities, LSE, Harvard, MIT, Stanford, made available, those courses made available in our curriculum with their certificates.
So approved by LSE, Harvard?
Yes, they will be issuing the certificates. Made available in higher education. Just imagine a child, you just spoke about development. I'll tell you what sustainable development is. A child today walks into first class, 10 years down the line takes an IB certificate with TOEFL as a period to study in every class, fluently speaking English, passes out with IB certificate, then gets into undergrad, passes out of undergrad with 30% of his course, certified by online, certified by LSE, Harvard, and MIT, and Stanford, giving the child their certificates. Just imagine what kind of quality education this child would possess and be made available to the world seeking a job. See, that is called sustainable development.
No, but people ask at what cost is this in terms of your state debt is much too high.
That is not the reality, because every state, you just cannot borrow whichever way you want. They're all governed by certain FRBM norms. There is a Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act, which is guided by certain norms. You cannot left, right, center borrow whatever you want, howsoever you want. They're governed by certain norms. In fact, if you were to see the compounded annual growth rate of our regime versus our previous regime, the compounded annual growth rate of debt in our regime is 14.5% growth rate versus during Chandrababu Naidu's regime, 21%. All these are CAG figures, the RBI figures, state government budgetary figures. This data is made available everywhere. In fact, a white paper, in fact, I've made several presentations on this also. But unfortunately, in the state of Andhra Pradesh, we have a global kind of speaking lies, because there's a media war going on here. Unfortunately, it's not Chandrababu Naidu alone I fight. I fight with Enadu, I fight with Andhra Jyoti, I fight with TV5, all of them put together, coming together with Chandrababu Naidu. Unfortunately, that is the plight of affairs in Andhra Pradesh.
So when your opponents describe this election as welfare versus development, how do you describe this election in a nutshell?
I would say, basically, as I've just spoke about development, then what do you think this is? And with this kind of development, never seen before. In fact, my capital expenditure, the amount what the state government has put in for capital expenditure year on year is also much higher than what Chandrababu Naidu's regime ever put in. Their average is 15,000, our average is 17,000. So in every sphere, there is this revolution as far as capital expenditure is concerned, as far as development is concerned.
So are the rich happy with you? Are the rich happy with you? Are the poor happy with you? Or nobody happy with you?
See, the most important thing is what the state has never seen before is DBT. First time in these 59 months, every scheme is channelized that it reaches people without corruption, without discrimination. And this kind of money into the hands of people through DBT, never done before. That is happening only because it's the same budget. It is the same state, same budget. In their regime, they were literally siphoning off money and distributing between themselves. Whereas here, the money is directly going into the hands of people without corruption, without discrimination. That is the difference.
If you win this election again, what are the 2 or 3 new things that you propose to do in the years to come?
In fact, this election is going to be fought on Just one plank, credibility. And I'm asked, in fact, throughout my campaign, I've just asked only one thing. If you think this government has done you good, and if you think having me there would transform your lives, then vote for me. That has been my plank. So the governance, which was never seen before, made available in these 59 months, and their future secured, going forward in the years to come, if it is safe with me, then they vote for me. That has been my plank.
You were talking to us earlier and you used this phrase, rich versus poor. It's not welfare versus development. You could just elaborate on that.
It's just not, I would not say rich versus poor. It is Pettamdarlu versus the poor. No, it's just not rich. The affluent with attitude, they are called Pettamdarlu. Them versus the poor. See, we are giving English medium to government school children. They are the people who oppose. Can you believe sending their children and grandchildren to English medium schools themselves, and they oppose government schools going for English medium? That is the plight of affairs in our state. We have distributed 31 lakh house sites to the poor. And can you believe these people actually go to the court trying to stop this distribution of pattas to the poor? You know what these petitions also speak of? The petitions filed by these people, they say demographic imbalance. Now, this is the affluent with attitude. That versus the poor. Now, that is the war which is going on here.
Is the development of coastal Andhra and Rayalaseema was relatively a backward region. Now, how is it doing now? How are you balancing the two parts of your state?
Our formula has always been decentralization. Be it bringing governance to the village, transforming the village, be it Gram Sachivalayams, be it the volunteer system, be it the English medium schools at the village level, be it the RBKs, Raitu Bharosa Kendra at the village level, be it the village clinic at the village level. So the whole model has been decentralized governance. We've made 13 districts into 26 districts. So our approach was to ensure that people are closer to the administration. Governance is delivered without corruption. Governance is delivered without discrimination. That has been the model. In fact, we have advocated 3 capitals. Rayalaseema continues to have judicial capital. This part, the central part, continues to be the legislative capital. And Vizag, which is actually the economic powerhouse of the state, the biggest city in Andhra Pradesh, is Vizag. This, with a little bit of fillip, could actually become the executive capital. So this has been the vision that we have been propagating.
And what happens to Amaravati?
Amaravati is still, see, basically, where is Amaravati today? When someone were to ask me, what about Amaravati? I think one should question themselves as to first try and understand where is Amaravati and what is Amaravati. See, Amaravati is neither in Vijayawada nor Amaravati is in Guntur. It is 40 kilometers away from Vijayawada, 40 kilometers away from Guntur. That is Amaravati on a barren land. 50,000 acres procured on a barren land. There in that barren land, to come up with the basic infrastructure, forget about the buildings. I'm not talking about the buildings. I'm talking about the basic infrastructure, the roads, the water, the electricity, the drainage, the sewerage. This kind of basic infrastructure alone, for us to first establish, according to their own report, given by the previous government, is 2 crores an acre. 50,000 acres into 2 crores an acre is actually 1 lakh crores. Now, by the time, this is 1 lakh crores today. By the time you actually invest this 1 lakh crores, it would probably take any state 15 years or 20 years to actually pump in that kind of money. And in that 15, 20 years, 1 lakh would actually become 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs. So it would be a dream chasing. It would never be realized. Whereas Vizag, on the other hand, is the biggest city in Andhra Pradesh. It is the biggest power engine what we have. With Vizag, if we were to announce it as an executive capital, and if the CM were to sit down there in Vizag, then automatically with a few iconic buildings, which is not going to cost much, a monumental secretariat, a monumental stadium, a monumental international airport, which is coming up now currently, these kind of 3-4 monumental buildings, which are not going to cost much. How much would a building cost? You just want to build it as a monumental, you just want to make it a monument. So how much would it cost? Not much. A monumental convention center, monumental stadium, a monumental secretariat, an international airport, which is state of the art, the best in current generation. These kind of facilities in Vizag, with the chief minister actually going there and sitting down in Vizag, would transform Vizag to compete with Hyderabad, Bangalore, or Chennai going forward in 10 years' time. At least that is the only way we can at least compete with these big cities. If Amaravati were to be the capital, and it would always be a dream chasing. There would never be a capital for Andhra Pradesh that could ever compete with Hyderabad, Bangalore, or Chennai. Whereas Vizag down the line, because it already has all the infrastructure, it already has roads, it already has electricity, it already has all these minimum infrastructure that needs to be there.
So one of the things that people say is that you want a special status for Andhra and you never got it. And despite the fact that they also say that you always voted with the BJP at the center.
Basically, Pradnoy, see, special status was something, it continues to be very dear to us even now. But if you were to look at the background of what happened with the special status, then you would realize that the special status was actually sold off by Chandrababu Naidu for a so-called special package, which actually did not materialize. Chandrababu Naidu was the very man who actually said special status is very important. Then he is the same person actually went forward and said special status is not Sanjeevani. So he actually sold the special status for a so-called special package, which was never there in existence, number one. But for us, special status continues to be our topmost priority even now. But unfortunate thing is, Congress also did not do us justice. See, had Congress party which broke our state, did an unjustified breaking of the state, was also unjustified by not incorporating the special status into the AP Reorganization Act. Had they incorporated the special status into the AP Reorganization Act, we could have gone to the court. Then BJP would have been left with no other option but to grant. But unfortunately, this has not been incorporated into the act. These were the words which was promised on the floor of the House. But unfortunately, it was not made part of the act. And because of that, Chandrababu Naidu's compromise with Modi ji in those days, with the BJP, for the so-called special package, actually derailed special status, grant of special status to the state. Now, coming to our point of view, when will we ever get special status? No, we continue. In fact, I've been asking Modi ji repeatedly. In every letter I write to the Prime Minister, every letter I write to the central government, either be it to the Home Ministry or be it to the Prime Minister. Every letter of mine does mention the topic special status, special category status. It is never so that we have foregone that. It would always be important to us. But when will it happen? But when will it be realized? When the central government does not have the numbers. When the central government does not have the numbers when they do not have the total mandate, only then people in Delhi would come to us and then give us the special category status.
So if
Otherwise, unfortunately, the special category status would always be a mirage.
So if they don't get the numbers, will you support them?
See, special category status is...
No, if they don't get the number.
Special category status is something which would come only when such kind of a situation exists.
A weak government at the
So
center.
will you support the government if they need your help to form a majority?
See, if special category status is put on the block, if they say, if special category status we will give, then it would be a totally different ball game. Totally different thinking would have to come in. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, what are our interests? Our interests are the state. But without special category status, what makes Chandrababu Naidu tie up with NDA? Did Modi ji or Amit Shah or any of them come here and did they make an announcement on their dais that yes, we are tying up with Chandrababu Naidu, we will grant the special category status going forward? We could not do so. First of all, they should have said sorry that we could not do so. And then going forward, they said, we have realized and we have understood and we will grant it now. They should have said that. But unfortunately, now it is not even part of their agenda.
So you're saying that this double engine promise that Mr. Naidu is making really will only work if the government is weak enough and is forced to give you double special
See, the
status.
unfortunate thing is even in 2014 to 2019,
They were in
it
government.
was a double engine or a triple engine, whatever you call it. Because the same people were also there together. The so-called Pawan Kalyan, the so-called Chandrababu Naidu, so-called BJP, all of them were together. And 2014 to 19, what happened? The same very Pawan Kalyan said, Pachipoina laddu, means laddus which are spoiled.
Spoiled.
That is what they said on BJP.
So
And then once again, back again in 2024, they once again come back.
on the field when we go around, the two political party speeches attack you on two fronts. One is you're giving very cheap liquor, and that is leading to addiction and corruption.
See, Pranay, the most important thing is, Pranay, it is not, see, not one single distillery license was ever given by us in our government.
And you're a teetotaler also, but you're giving cheap liquor.
In fact, I am one person who's against liquor. Because I don't drink myself and I don't believe in people drinking liquor also. See, if you were to see, not one single distillery permission was given by us. Everything was wherever the liquor is being supplied from. Every license is being given during Chandrababu Naidu's regime. Not a single distillery is being given license from us.
But have you reduced the excise?
No, let me just tell you one thing. In fact, after we had come in, we increased the taxes. So much so that the volumes dropped by more than 40%. If somebody were to have any kind of interest in liquor, somebody would actually try to increase the volumes. Whereas here, you have a situation where I have increased the taxes, making sure government benefits out of this. Liquor consumption comes down, yet my revenues continue to be the same for the state government. I've ensured that the private shops are removed because private shops lead to more volumes to be sold, more profit to be gained. So private actually leads to belt shops because they want to increase their volumes. So they come up with their belt shops, increase the sale there. And private also leads to what is mentioned in MRP versus what is sold, price difference. Whereas we've ensured that every shop is now government. So there's fixed timing. Nobody is permitted to sell beyond 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And there are no belt shops. Earlier there were permit rooms. Right beside the shop there was a permit room where people used to sit down and drink. And just imagine women walking on that road. A bunch of people sitting down there and then drinking. We removed permit rooms. So there is no profitability motive for the shop owner, which is the government themselves now. And because of the time restrictions, volumes have come down by more than 40%. Whereas actually the volume should have actually been increasing. If you see Chandrababu Naidu's regime, you will see the numbers. Every year you have 15% growth in volumes. Whereas if you see our numbers, from those numbers where actually Chandrababu Naidu gave us, even now we have not yet caught up with those numbers because we're 40% down. And then from 40% down, whatever escalation, little bit of escalation, which has taken place. Even now, our numbers are less than those numbers.
So 40% down means Andhra is a less happy place.
But also, when this goes down, many states where taxes are so high, then illegal hooch starts taking place and people drink unhealthy liquor, which is bad for health.
It's got to be a balance. It's got to be a balance. See, earlier what was happening, what was the MRP and what was being sold were two different rates because it was auctioned. And people who participated in the auction were none other than TDP cadre. So this was available at 100. It was being sold at 140. Everybody knew that. What we did was we ensured that this 100 is actually 140 now with tax to the government. So it is available at the same rate which was available during Chandrababu Naidu's regime at the same rate.
So we knew your father well, and this is just the last question. If he was sitting here, what would you say to him?
He has been and he continues to be my role model. I take great inspiration from him, and I would always try to live up to him.
And you miss him.
I miss him.
Thank you very much for spending time with us.